Welcome to the Daily Videcasting. Today, OpenAI's newest model sparks a massive user revolt, AI agents are handed the keys to the stock market, and we're looking at why the end of human coding might just be the beginning of a trillion-dollar talent war. Let's get into the deep dive of today's wire.
Yeah, we've got a seriously packed timeline today.
We really do. And our mission here is to synthesize this raw feed of market shifts, AI leaps, and honestly, cultural backlash to figure out what it all actually means for your portfolio, your job, and your sanity.
Right, because the second-order effects are hitting hard right now. It's not just tech news anymore. It's altering how financial markets behave, and then that triggers this huge, visceral human backlash.
Exactly. So let's jump right into the lead story. This comes directly from at OpenAI and their president at GDB, Greg Brockman. So GPT 5.4 Mini is live.
And the specs are just wild.
Oh, they're staggering. It's running 2 times faster than the previous 5 Mini model, and it costs just 75 cents per million input tokens.
Which, just to give people context, a million tokens is like 3 or 4 full-length novels.
Right. You can feed this thing 4 books for less than $1. And on top of that, it's scoring 54.4% on SW Bench Pro.
Which is, that's the critical metric here. SW Bench Pro isn't some easy multiple-choice test.
No, it's the gold standard.
Exactly. It's where they throw highly complex, messy GitHub issues at the AI and just say, fix the bugs. So scoring over 50% means it's actively reasoning through dense enterprise code.
Right, and that is exactly why at Rohan Pillai posted this massive viral thread today. He literally declared that the era of human coding is over.
Bold statement.
Very bold. But he backed it up with new internal data from NetCorp. They're showing that in early 2026, AI is now generating nearly 50% of all code in new software projects.
Wow, half the code.
Yeah. But I have to push back a little on his premise. Like, if AI is writing half the code, are developers actually becoming obsolete, or are they just, becoming highly paid editors?
We'll see. The corporate narrative definitely wants you to believe it's just efficiency, right? That we're all just becoming managers. But if you look at the human cost and the backlash on the timeline today, it totally contradicts that.
Oh, the backlash is real.
It's a war zone. If you look at the context under Greg Brockman's thread, the Keep Foro movement, hashtag Keep Foro, is absolutely furious.
Right, because to roll out 5.4, OpenAI is retiring the older GPT-4o model.
Exactly. And users are actively accusing them of gaslighting. They're calling it cruelty dressed as innovation.
Cruelty over a software update.
I know, it sounds dramatic, but think about why. People weren't just using Foro to write Python scripts. They were using it as an emotional support tool.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the voice mode.
Right. They built genuine psychological attachments to its specific cadence, its personality. Ripping that away for a cheaper server architecture feels like losing a friend to them.
That's incredibly dystopian. And then there's the whole astroturfing thing, right?
Oh, yeah. There's widespread suspicion today that all the overly positive replies in Brockman's thread are just fake bot accounts deployed to mask the real outrage.
It's wild. We engineer a machine that mimics empathy so well that humans rely on it, and then we just pull the plug to save on compute cost.
It is. But honestly, while retail users are fighting over their chatbots, the financial sector is quietly weaponizing these exact same hyper-fast models.
Yes. This transitions perfectly to what at Unusual Whales dropped today. They gave Anthropic's Claude model full direct API access to options flow, dark pools, and polymarket predictions.
Which is terrifying. Let's unpack that. Options flow is the real-time fire hose of massive bets hedge funds are making.
Right.
And dark pools are these private exchanges where institutional giants trade millions of shares invisibly. And then Polymarket is the decentralized betting platform. Unusual Whales basically plugged an AI directly into the central nervous system of global finance.
And retail traders are eating it up. They're doing this thing called vibe coding.
Vibe coding. I love and hate that term.
Right. Because the AI is so good at coding now. Day traders don't need Python. They just type in plain English like, hey, monitor the news for bad vibes around tech stocks and short the market if volatility spikes.
And the AI instantly deploys a high-frequency trading bot to do it.
Exactly. But who loses money here? If everyone has a hyper-intelligent trading bot, where's the edge?
That's the billion-dollar question. The systemic edge just evaporates, and volatility goes completely parabolic. There was this MI2 paper back in 2023 showing that algorithmic trading inherently amplifies market flash crashes by like 20 to 30%.
Wait, how does an AI-dominated flash crash actually happen, mechanically?
It's a pure feedback loop. Millions of retail vibe coders deploy similar bots. They all read the same news sentiment and trigger the exact same sell-off simultaneously.
There's no human buffer.
None. Bot A sells, the price drops. Bot B is programmed to sell on a drop, so it dumps its shares. That drops the price more, triggering bot C. Suddenly, a 1% dip becomes a 40% crash in milliseconds.
So if you're listening to this, right, think about your 401k, your passive index funds. The stock market is shifting from human psychology to machine speed collision.
Yeah, your investments are just caught in the crossfire of algorithms fighting other algorithms over microscopic data points. And spoiler alert, the retail trader rarely wins that arms race.
No, the real winners are the infrastructure providers,
Yeah.
the people selling the shovels.
Always.
Which brings us to the infrastructure gold rush. At DDS pointed out today that OpenRouter, which routes your prompts to the cheapest AI model, just broke 1 quadrillion tokens a year.
A quadrillion. The scale is absurd.
It's processing $1 billion in token value annually. They take a tiny 5.5% fee, and that nets them a $55 billion annual run rate. And then you have at Clementa Lang, the CEO Hugging Face, highlighting Unsloth Studios' launch.
Unsloth is a massive structural signal.
It really is. It lets developers locally train over 500 different LLMs on consumer-grade GPUs with 70% less VRAM.
Video RAM, yeah.
Right. Normally, you need a multi-million-dollar server farm for this now. It's like going from a massive printing press to having a 4K 3D printer right on your desk.
But this is where I really question the Silicon Valley consensus. Everyone assumes the giant labs, OpenAI, Google, are just going to crush every startup because they have the compute.
Right. The foundation model wins all theory.
Yeah, but Georgios brought up a brilliant historical counterpoint today. He reminded us about Google Flights back in 2011. Everyone said it would kill Kayak and Skyscanner.
But wait, I got to play devil's advocate. Google Flights was just scraping static flight schedules. GPT 5.4 is a dynamic reasoning engine. Isn't that fundamentally different?
It's a fair point, but look at the outcome. Google didn't kill them. Google made $18 billion from travel partners in 2019. The specialized firms survived because they handled the messy human elements, local adaptation, specific user interfaces, support.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oros points to Grammarly, too. When generative AI hit, everyone said Grammarly was dead. But their annual recurring revenue went from $179 million in 2023 to $700 million by mid-2025.
Wow. Despite ChatGPT.
Exactly, because generalized giants don't integrate seamlessly into your company's highly specific legacy workflows. Specialized firms win by building the painful, customized bridges to the user.
So foundation models are just the raw electricity, but you still need startups to build the appliances. And speaking of startups, at A16's and Catherine Boyle highlighted a totally different survival strategy today, the physical world.
Yes, the Elon Musk school of startups.
Exactly. She argues SpaceX's true legacy isn't rockets, it's the thousands of alumni leaving to build hardware startups, defense, autonomous drones, manufacturing.
Because if software is practically free to generate, manipulating physical atoms becomes your ultimate competitive moat.
Right. You can't just prompt a robotic assembly line into existence. But here's the massive bottleneck we are seeing on the wire today. Talent.
So the talent crisis is very real.
At Akash Gupta posted staggering data out of India today. For every 10 OpenAI engineering roles, there's only one qualified engineer. One. Job postings are up 143% year over year.
So who is filling those roles?
It's not the traditional CS grads. It's self-taught builders using free 6-month roadmaps like Navtour's roadmap. And creators are fueling this. Look at Ed Lenison.
Oh, the markdown files.
Yeah. He released his entire life's work, 350 newsletters, 300 transcripts as AI-ready markdown files, complete with an MCP server.
And just to clarify, an MCP, or Model Context Protocol, is basically a secure plug socket. It lets an AI read your local files without uploading everything to the public cloud.
Exactly. So self-taught kids are plugging into Lenny's brain trust and building strategic advisory apps over a weekend. It makes you wonder, are traditional computer science degrees obsolete if you can just use markdown files to build a company?
Obsolete for rapid prototyping, maybe, but absolutely critical for enterprise safety.
Security is the nightmare here, right?
Exactly. A self-taught builder can spin up an app in 48 hours, but what happens when that app needs to touch a Fortune 500 company's core database? Look at the post today from @CheerQ212. He's an engineer at Anthropic working on Claude Code.
Right, he was talking about skills.
Yes. Skills are essentially strict modular folders that act as architectural guardrails. They physically block the AI from executing destructive commands.
Because the AI doesn't know that deleting user records is a bad idea unless a human strictly fences it in.
Precisely. And we saw this exact tension today with Adi Malik. He compared Anthropic's Claude Cowork dispatch, which is heavily guarded against this open source tool called OpenClaw.
OpenClaw sounds completely unshackled.
It is. It can autonomously manage your emails, update your calendar, run your whole digital life. But Malik pointed out a terrifying flaw. Because it lacks security architecture, it's highly susceptible to prompt injection.
Wait, so someone sends you a bad email.
Exactly. Someone sends you an email with hidden text, and OpenClaw might just autonomously upload your entire hard drive to a Russian malware site.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Trust is the bottleneck, not capability. Established providers win because enterprises need trust.
And what's crazy is we don't even know how to properly measure this capability anymore.
Yeah.
Artificial Logan and K from Google posted today that they're throwing $200,000 at the Kaggle community just to figure out how to measure artificial general intelligence.
200 grand just for a test.
Right. Because the old benchmarks, the bar exam, coding tests are saturated. The models ace them. We literally don't know how to test for metacognition or executive function anymore.
It means our rulers are broken. Testing an AI for metacognition is it's like trying to test if a mirror knows it's reflecting you.
That's a great way to put it. We're flying totally blind. We're building these massive world-altering systems, and we can't even measure how smart they are. But this lack of trust, this friction, it's not just in enterprise security. It is violently colliding with consumer culture today.
The culture war stuff today is fascinating. This is where it gets incredibly visceral for the average person.
Absolutely. The visual leaps are stunning, but deeply unsettling. At Google Natives showed off Nano Banana 2, the February 2026 update to Gemini's image model. It does pro-level editing at flash speed.
Yeah, the Empire State Building panoramas.
Exactly. Users are creating mathematical, perfect 3D dioramas just from raw Google Maps coordinate data.
The visual fidelity is mind-blowing, but the consumer rejection is equally intense. Kimenismus reported from the 2026 Game Developers Conference today, and it perfectly encapsulates this.
The NVIDIA DLSS 5 drama.
Right. NVIDIA is pushing DLSS 5, saying, look, we aren't using an AI filter on your game characters. We're just using AI to infer perfectly photorealistic lighting and materials in real time.
But gamers are not buying it.
Not for a second. Gamers are analyzing trailers for the Oblivion Remastered mod, and they are pointing out that the AI's lighting fundamentally alters the mood of the game. It completely wipes out the ambient occlusion.
For those who don't know, ambient occlusion is how game engines simulate those soft shadows and corners and creases. Right.
Exactly. It grounds the scene. When the AI optimizes the lighting to be mathematically correct, it strips away those shadows. The facial features change, everything looks flat and artificially bright.
It's a massive cultural divide. Tech companies want to sell fidelity and physical perfection. But consumers are desperately clinging to authenticity.
They want the original artistic intent.
It's the psychological uncanny valley applied to art direction. We don't want an algorithm to perfectly light a face if it strips away the stylized, dramatic contrast that made the character feel human in the first place. When a machine overrides human intent, even to make it better, it feels invasive. We're literally watching a societal immune response to AI perfection.
Which really ties this entire day together, from the emotional backlash over GPT-4o to gamers rejecting perfect lighting to enterprises terrified of autonomous agents. The underlying theme is humans trying to maintain control in a system accelerating way beyond our capacity to measure it.
So as we synthesize all of this, the infrastructure boom, the trading bots, the cultural pushback, what is your prediction for tomorrow? What happens next?
Watch the SEC and regulators. With unusual whales giving Claude direct API access to options flow and dark pools, we are mixing hyper-fast AI code with deeply emotional retail trading. We are exactly one algorithmic feedback loop away from a catastrophic flash crash.
And when that happens?
The moment retail money evaporates because two LLMs got into a pricing war in a dark pool, you will see an absolute regulatory crackdown on retail AI trading. The government will have to step in because the machines are just too fast.
That is a very chilling but highly probable scenario. Which leaves you, the listener, with a final thought to mull over today. We've talked a lot about humans reacting to AI, but what happens to the models themselves? If generative AI needs vast amounts of human data to learn, what happens when 80% of the internet is just AI trading bots yelling at other bots and AI characters talking to AI lighting engines? Are we about to see these trillion-dollar models fundamentally collapse, entirely poisoned by training on their own synthetic exhaustion? Think about it. At what point are we all just server admins for an economy run entirely by machines talking to machines?
That's the real vibe check.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining this deep dive. We will see you tomorrow.